Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome to a professional match of StarCraft 2. In the top left, a player who's playing for a team named after the New York rapper. It is of course BIG's Showtime, Berlin International Gaming Team. And in the bottom right, playing for Basilisk, is Reynor. Basilisk, which believes that everyone can be a scientist. I think that is their slogan. I'm not sure what it means. Probably means that gamers can also be scientists. I've met a lot of gamers. And trust me when I say that not all of them can be scientists. A lot of pro gamers I don't think are quite fit to becoming scientists. Don't quite have the mental capacity for that. Myself included. But Basilisk truly believes it. They often have stands at these events as well. There's a big poster with a picture of Reynor on it that says anyone can become a scientist. Even this guy. It's actually true. That happens. Third Nexus here on the way. Very fast, by the way. Is that just a double adept? Oh, okay. It is before the second gateway. Cool little move here coming out of Showtime. I'm a fan of that. I really am a fan of that. This type of play. I think that's good. I truly believe that to be good. If the Oracle flies in towards the main base, it's not going to get anything done. Sometimes I just like being in first-person view of the Protoss player. Because then you can see the disappointment. Like, you can feel the disappointment every single time that the Oracle doesn't manage to deal any damage. It just feels right. Well, on the Zerg side of things, it feels very nice. You have full vision, you see the Oracle flying around, you move your queens around a little bit. Okay, here comes Showtime. It's like, okay, this time it's gonna work. Spore. Maybe in the natural, maybe the queens. Never mind, 2 queens there. You know, let me throw down a revelation, pretend I did something with these guys. This is the life. This is the life of a Protoss player, my friends. This is the life of a Protoss player. He has a revelation though, sees where the queens are moving. He's trying to keep up as well with his build order as he sends 3 adepts across the map right now, wanting to get some damage done. Battery gets constructed at home as the second sentry gets warped in here as well. 12 links, 1 metabolic boost, and a melee upgrade are on the production tab. With the metabolic boost finishing up first, there goes the creature. 3 queens. These are the queens from the net/3rd base, I believe, which means that, Showtime's gonna try to go towards the 3rd base. He's not gonna get there in time, or at least not before the queens arrive. I don't think so. Oh, maybe gets a kill. No, drone pool is very fast here. Very fast drone pool indeed. I don't think a single worker has gone down yet. Yep, 0 workers have died. It's a good force field. Wouldn't mind seeing a second force field here either. It's not gonna be utilized. Not a bad trade necessarily for Showtime though. Resources lost. 9 links to 3 adepts. Actually, that's not great, but it's not the end of the world. It's like, meh. Lots of links were built, and that means less drones. It's a melee build with high gas count. Okay. Relatively rare. There is a Roach Warren. And, oh, wait. So, usually when we see melee builds, the reason why I'm confused here, let me explain. Usually when we see melee builds, we see a faster forward pace, lower gas counts, quick fifth as well. Maybe 4 or 5 gases, something along them lines. If we see higher gas, very often it does transition into a Hydra then. But that means that you open up with a Baneling nest, not a Roach Warren. And you go throw down the Hydra then, and you play Hydra Link Bane. You can also play Ravager Link Bane like this, or Roach Link Bane, but I don't think you need as many gases this quickly. Straight up rushes Infestation Pit and Baneling Nest. This is almost a Serral-esque playstyle here that we're witnessing out of Reynor. Just wanting to rush into the hive, while maybe having the ability to deal some damage with Banelings. 83 workers is the number he's going to settle at for now, as a drone makes its way over towards the 5th base. I much prefer the 5th on the right side. This is really quite out there. In a way, it might work because it's not going to get spotted, but I don't think they should be capable of dealing any damage. Good pick up here by Showtime, which is roaming around. Double hallucinations. Did get a scout that there isn't a Spire quite yet. I'd love for a Spire to actually go down here, by the way. So you can transition quickly into Brood Lords. Maybe his plan here is to play something else. Perhaps his plan is to play Ultras initially. That is completely viable. That is a possible... That is something that is definitely possible. No Banelings yet built. This is a very large Zealot count, by the way. As Stasis Wards now being thrown down. One of them's going to finish up. Ling will connect with that. There's a single Zealot. No, sorry. That's 5 Zealots being split off to deal with some of these drones. This is a really good start for Showtime instantly. Get some decent enough forces. I think he can almost fight. Okay, he's going to right-click the hatch. And probably wants to get a recall going here as well. Yeah, not the cleanest evac, but I think this was good enough. No, he didn't spot that left side 5th base. That would have been a true banger. If you can clear that, all of a sudden this is close to impossible position to lose. Now this, it's good for Showtime, don't get me wrong, but this is a scary moment. There are a lot of roaches out now. They don't have any upgrades. Oh my god, that's so many Zealots. How many is that? 19 Zealots, 29 roaches. First Immortal hits the map as well. And this army is extremely bad here, out of Reynor. And not necessarily because of the unit composition, but because of how the upgrades have gone so far in this game, right? If you have 29 roaches or 27 roaches and 2 Ravagers, you want to have at least 1 range upgrade, or you're just not going to be trading so well. You really aren't. Even against something like Zealot Archon Immortal or just Zealot Archon, if there's +2 on the Protoss units and you have no upgrades on your roaches, that's going to freaking suck. Now, these Zealots are being caught off guard. That is a good trade here. A good start of the fight for Reynor. He throws down 2 Ravager Biles as well. And here comes the run-by in towards the Naturals. That's Zealot on hold position. Yes, it is. Battery's going to get taken out. Cheeky little snipe there. Reynor needs to, in a subtle way, get rid of all of those roaches. Because the longer he's running around with them roaches, the harder it's going to be to win fights. Like, the moment Storm hits here, I'm having a difficult time seeing how Reynor's gonna defend an incoming push. Like, if Showtime were to push across the map right now, maybe a cheeky little prism in towards the main base. Boom, fly towards the right side. Not so easy often to move out for toss, but if you do get to the other side of the map, that would be huge. Reynor actually believes he can deal some damage. I'd be shocked if he gets anything out of this. Except losing a bunch of Banes. Which is not really getting something out of it. I guess it is getting something out of it, but it's not something you'd want. It's like someone asking, what did you get out of, you know, going climbing or working out? And they say, well, I dropped the dumbbells on my toes. So I had to amputate 7 toes. Like, well, seems like you got a lot out of it. Well, not really. Not really. Crater Spy is about to finish up. Reynor still needs to get rid of these roaches, by the way. The longer it takes, the worse it's gonna get. Blink now is being researched. Showtime wants to move out. It's gonna lose a bunch of Zealots for free. Has another Zealot run by here on the right. I think this is a real good call. I like this. Because the moment this army attacks, these Zealots go in. And the moment these Zealots go in, this army needs to go back home. It's as simple as that. Absolutely as simple as that. I think Reynor might want to try the base trade. It feels like one of the only viable solutions. I'm not quite sure why Showtime is just standing here and doing nothing. Zealot run by now really needs to be sent in, this bad boy. Not quite sure what we're waiting for. He's taking out a lot of Banes. Problem is the roaches are staying alive, and that's the unit you want to lose. And keeping some Banelings in your armies isn't that bad, but these roaches without any upgrades, that's going to be a serious issue. As Showtime now moves out across the map, there's a lot of cash in the bank for Reynor, who has started building Corruptors as well. That's going to make matters even worse, because it means that there's a lot of supplying units that aren't doing anything. They are morphing into Brutes right now, and here comes the base trade move. Reynor is going to send his roaches across the map, but don't forget these guys have crap upgrades. Absolute garbage upgrades. There's nothing defensively to deal with the Zealot run by. There's going to be 1 Brute. This base is being absolutely blasted, and a small portion of the army going back home is enough to deal with this run by. So we're now in a situation where it's going to be 5 base versus 4 base. Showtime with superior upgrades. Showtime having denied a lot of creep on the map. I think he's in a phenomenal spot here, our Protoss player. And I don't quite see what Reynor can do. What can he achieve right now with these Brutes? I think the answer is practically nothing. Practically nothing. 89 workers for Showtime. I think this would be a solid timing to get a 6th base up as well. Take out these rocks. You want to increase the maneuverability the moment you're playing against brutes. You don't want it to be as easy for your opponent to push out one lane, like just push this kind of out, and then move the brute lords forward. No, you want to be maneuverable, flexible in your movement at all times. I love this Templar split as well. A couple of Templars on the top, a couple of Templars on the bottom, and that means it's going to be real difficult. Prism moving in as well right now. Is there anything ready in the main base? The answer is no. What the heck is this guy doing though? Go to the main base, buddy. I know you want to. As this left side here is being attacked, there's no observer with this army, which is bad. The rocks on the left side have still not been taken out. I also think that is bad. This prism is... I think it showed its phase a bit too quick. Just a little bit too quick. This is a scary move, by the way. If you get a blink forward with even just 8 or 9 stalkers, you're going to end up losing a lot of these freaking brutes. Look at that. Those like, what, 4, 5, 6 stalkers? End up losing 3 brutes there. Now, if you have 10 more stalkers... Well, legit, if you have 8 more stalkers there, this is serious. He's in serious trouble. Ooh, that's 2 Archons and an Immortal that go down. Now, there are a couple of Storms available. Not a great trade. Where's that next warp in? Okay, here we finally go. That took a while, though. It really did. As here comes Showtime with the reinforcements. Had that happened just 5 seconds quicker, I think you lose 2 more brutes. And all of a sudden, this right side is compromised. Spines are going to need to help. Will probably be capable of helping at least a little bit. Reynor set up in a kind of small way, you know? Keeping it tight here. Keeping it tight. 5 bases, spines, maybe some spores being added in. We already have the Tempest transition. I actually think that is a bit too quick. Is it necessary right now for Showtime to transition into Tempest? Not really. Showtime's goal probably should be on securing as many bases as possible, denying creep as much as possible, denying the 6th and the 7th, keeping his opponent small. I think those are the goals right now. And the Tempest is a unit that you really want to introduce into the game once you are significantly outmining your opponent and you're completely stable on those bases as well. And that means 8, 9, 10 cannons per base, a Templar every base. Like 4 cannons is nice, it's not enough. As the right side now is under some heavy fire. There's 1 storm still remaining. It's going to connect with a bunch of these links. This is a crappy fight for Mr. Tobias Sieber, also known as Showtime. As now trying to move into a bunch of spines. Doesn't have any zealots to truly tank. Is going to break through. This feels weird, but I think a warp in on the bottom side of the map right now is what you need. You don't actually give a crap about that top side. Just take out this base and you trade away one of your bases for one of your opponent's bases. And that should be a good trade. Except for the fact that he also lost his entire army. This is also where a mothership can really come in handy. Both for the invisibility, the time warp, actually, as well as for the recall ability, of course. Just getting a portion of the army to a side where it currently isn't, that is huge. And straight up teleporting it into the fight. Do these roaches have any upgrades yet? Nothing yet. Finally they're about to die. Look how weak they are. So weak, man. 1 armor upgrade, no other upgrades. They're getting blasted by these well-upgraded gateway units. 3-2-1 upgrades. Jesus. About to finish his +3 armor as well. Now this base is going to get denied once more. I think it's absolutely key right now for Showtime to actually deny the 6th base. But he's planning on playing a 6 base versus 6 base game. I think this is a mistake. I believe that in the very late game, Protoss doesn't necessarily trade that much better than Zerg. I feel like this is a myth. Is that there's going to be like maybe a 3 or 4k difference. I think the real damage to Zerg gets done in the late stages of the mid game and the early stages of the late game is where you can take a lot of bases as toss. And the moment the moment Broodlords come out or a lot of Lurkers, that's when you can just deny bases because that is not a very good mobile army. And you want to keep it in that kind of flexible state for as long as possible. And then the moment you go to a lower worker count, that's when you start adding in Tempest. But this is not the timing yet for a low worker count. And Showtime has realized that part, but he didn't realize that the Tempests that aren't necessary yet. They're dead weight right now in his army. Look, they're not doing anything. They're not contributing in anything. They're not pushing, they're not defending. They're useless. They're useless little pricks. And that's not okay. There's a lot of supply that's being sunk into them. Right now, it's actually Reynor that is outbasing his opponent. As this 7 base here is being taken on the bottom side. Spine crawlers in position. I kind of like that. I think that's good. We haven't seen as many spines in use as Reynor is doing here before. I feel like usually we see heavy spore setups, but really using those spines to deal with potential run-by attacks. Loses a Viper, kills an Archon. It's a good trade for the Zerg player money-wise. Time-wise, though, I think it usually is fine for a toss. If you kill a Viper, it means you have a... It makes it a little bit easier for your army to move. There's also no Corruptors out yet, by the way, which is interesting. That means that these Tempests technically are free to do whatever the hell they please. What's that? Tectonic Destabilizers, almost done. Gonna start pushing through these 4 walls. There comes the Viper. Can he shoot it? It's 1 Tempest shot off on it. That's about it. Okay, here we go. Big attack into it. Storm. No Storm. Yes, Storm. Couple of big fungals. Still, Roach is not really dealing a whole lot of damage. Can't believe that this single Ultra with the Infestors is pushing this back. That seems kind of wild and incorrect. Yeah, Showtime's like, wait a second, you actually have no army. I want to fight that. And he's correct. He's absolutely correct. Another thing that's pretty interesting is that this area is open, right? So he's attacking into a choked area. Or well, not a choked area, but a well-defended area. But this area has nothing, no static. This area has nothing, no static. Showtime is kind of tunnel visioning on this general spot, which is bad. It's gonna deny the bottom side base. But we have even mining right now. Let's take a look at the resources lost. Reynor's just ahead in resources lost. And I think usually in the late game, Reynor is a little bit better than Showtime in these very late game fights. Like resources lost are... You're not going to make a huge difference, usually, with the resources. It's really about mining. PvZ is so much about mining. I think a lot of people don't quite realize that yet. But money is the most important thing in the world in PvZ. Oh. Can actually get a Viper there. At the same time, though, he's losing the fight over here. So that makes some sense. Like I was wondering why Reynor wasn't microing his scrap, but he was microing his scrap on the other side. Reynor probably was wondering why Showtime wasn't microing his scrap. Like, wait a second, that seems weird. Cheeky little time warp over here as well. As, there's still 2 Immortals in the back. Link's now in production. We have these Tempest. They're just dealing a lot of damage. Resources lost. Still in favor of Reynor though. Here comes a Fungal, here comes a Blink forward. And now this base should be toast. I mean, it is gonna be toast. Having like 1 or 2 Archons here added in would be huge, by the way. Just freaking massive. Showtime setting up this base. It's not quite gonna get the drones though. It would have been pretty big given the fact that Reynor has no money. Or almost no money. This is looking pretty okay for Showtime. This right base is fairly important as well for our German Protoss player. It's a very technical game we're playing right now. Very technical game. It's nice to see. With this base being denied, that's a serious issue. And now... Ooh. Ooh. This is a pretty wild move. This is a very wild move, actually. Wow. Okay. So I'm not sure if I like it or if I hate it. But what this does do, it forces Reynor to make a move. Because he's losing one of his own bases. Like in a split map scenario, this is the most right base Reynor's gonna get, and this is the most left side base that Reynor's gonna get. So the moment your opponent tries to make a play for that, and you're in a Tempest scenario, you actually need to act. You need to do something. And okay, he's going to pull his entire army towards the left side, and it's on Showtime here to realize that that is what's happening. He needs to attack with his right side army in towards this base, maybe even in towards this base, and then pull back his Tempest towards this safe area. That is going to be the play against a move like this. However, I'm afraid that Showtime might not quite realize until it's a little bit too late. Here come the Ultras. Okay, this is a good call. Instantly sends it in as well. Legitimately perfect play here coming out of Showtime. Completely understanding what needs to be done. As he's taking out a lot of Ultras here on the left side as well. He's just owning. He's absolutely destroying his opponent. Here comes a curveball, though, out of Reynor. Goes behind the front lines, behind the enemy lines, and starts taking out a back base. Now, there's no pylon with a quick warp in. Mothership is going to go move back to deal with this. This was an insanely well-executed sequence by Showtime. And he understood. He understood immediately what the correct call was there. Not a phenomenal player. This, I think, is not... This is not okay. This is incorrect. He doesn't have the Archon count right now to deal with this. He's going to be losing quite a few Zealots. That sucks. It really does suck. And I don't think he needs to push as aggressively into this if he's once again trying to establish this base. He's playing a sick game, by the way, here, Showtime. Such a well-executed game out of him. Holy crap, I'm loving this. I'm loving these observers here as well. I think this is such a good call. There's an Oracle with this army still. This is just Tempest Templar. And that's very weak, but it's good enough against the Air Force. And this right side army is good against everything else. A couple of Zealots here being sacrificed, giving up their life. I'd love to see another observer. Okay, yeah, we see 2 more observers in production. Yeah, it's the I think once again, Showtime says, "Hey, come at me, buddy. Like, what are you gonna do here?" Oh, Templar, Templar, Templar going down. That's 1 going down. That's 2 going down, and perhaps even 3. Can he get a Brood Lord in return? Yeah. So. Money-wise, maybe not even the worst trade. Here comes a feedback on that Infestor as well. And look how patient Showtime is. An amateur would send in this army right now and say, hey, it's time to go. Uh-oh. Oh, no. This is... you can do it. It's just not necessary, I think. Because there wasn't enough here to truly break. Although he is being broken by Corruptors. Oh! Ow! Observer's not quite here yet. As, I mean, more Stalkers are being warped in. Oh, Showtime? Showtime? Saved. Keeps this base alive as well. Starts 4 new Tempest. Almost feel like just having a ground army on the left side might even be better. No? Like a tiny little ground army. At this point, not going back into Tempest because there's so many Corruptors out. There's a lot of wasted supply. You get like 12 Stalkers and you just start dealing with these brutes straight up. There are a couple of storms available here. As 1 Archon is going to be taken over by this Infestor. Big Fungal connects as well. Army supply is in favor of Reynor, but everything else is in favor of Showtime, who's playing it. He played a phenomenal game. Insanely well. Insanely well done. Holy crap. This was such solid execution all around. He's gonna take the win here, most likely. Yeah, GG, man. Woo! That was some nice StarCraft 2. Yeah, that was some real nice... I'm very happy with how Showtime played that. You know? That was just good. That was good StarCraft. Solid SC2 execution. What the heck? Understood what he had to do in every situation and executed it. He executed it well. There was 1 minor blunder here in the end where he didn't have detection with his secondary army, or I guess with his main army, because it had the most supply, against the Infestors that were burrowed and narrowing. But every other move that Showtime made in this game was well thought out. You know, he weighed his options every single time, and I think more often than not made the correct call. Just completely outplayed Reynor here. Beautiful stuff. Real nice to watch. Of course, had an easy early game, which makes life a little bit easier in general in the later stages of the game as well. But still, absolutely phenomenal play. And that, my dear friends, is going to be it for me today. I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.